Run.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, welcome to the 5th weekly On the Run. Oh, this isn't the Power 50? Oh, okay. Yes, it's the Power 50 tonight, so we're all dressed up and excited and ready to go, but jacket off, a little bit casual for On the Run. So welcome to On the Run for this week. Of course, Power 50 tonight. So this On the Run is really being made on the run, and let's get straight into it. So Friday last week, we had a story, Bell Corp consolidated revenue up 87%, nearly double, to US 73 million in the 9 months to September. Well, great. It's up nearly double. And obviously Bell Corp is the company which owns the land on which City of Dreams Manila is on. So they're doing well. So that revenue comes, the formulas that generate that revenue are directly related to the revenue of City of Dreams. So if that's up, the revenue of City of Dreams is up, which of course we know it is. So that's good news for Bell Corp, good news for the Philippines gaming industry. On Sunday, we had a breaking news that MGM in Macau went into lockdown with about 1,500 people inside, ended up being locked down for 3 days because a dealer got COVID. Well, first thing I will say is IAG brought you the news first, but next thing I will say is bad luck for MGM, and at least they're back open again now, which is great. And we hope we see fewer and fewer of those kind of instances. What else we got here? Monday, Padcore. Oh yes, Padcore announced their results. And because of Padcore, of course, is both a regulator and an operator. We'll save that discussion for another day. Their gaming income doubled compared to the first 9 months of last year. And their net profit for the first 9 months of this year is $60 million. Not an enormous net profit, but at least it's a net profit compared to the Macau operators. So that's good for Padcore. Well done. The Philippines gaming industry is coming back. On Tuesday, our lead story was that there will be e-visas from the 1st of November. So that was from Tuesday, for all of China, which is great news for Macau. Very exciting. So hopefully we see quite an uptick in revenue. Of course, it will take a little time to ramp up, but I think we should see some effect straight away. So hopefully, well, I was going to say November revenue will be up, but of course we've been through what we've been through in the last week or so in Macau, which isn't great. But hopefully we get over that pretty quickly. November revenue is up, December revenue up even more, and we'll see where we go from there. So good news for Macau that the e-visas are back on, and hope that has an effect on the numbers. Tuesday, our lead story was that the GGR for October, well, it wasn't our lead story, so it was our breaking news rather. GGR for October, 3.9 billion MOP, which is 488 million US, not even $500 million, compared to Nevada, which is doing 1.2, 1.3, or Las Vegas, which is doing 750, 800 a month. So but even the city of Las Vegas, well and truly in front of the city of Macau at the moment. Year to date for Macau, 36 billion in 10 months. That's MOP, 36 billion MOP. You know, compare that, that's a run rate of 43 billion for the year. Compare that to the 130 billion the chief executive said would be the revenue for the year. It's not even a quarter, not even a third, sorry, not even a third. So, well, it's almost exactly a third. So it's coming in a third of what it's probably going to come in at around a third of what the chief executive said it would be at the end of last year. So that's pretty devastating for Macau. Wednesday's lead story, very, very interesting. Tillman Fertitta, 6% of Wynn Resorts in the US, of course, the parent company of Wynn Macau. And Wynn Resorts are second largest shareholder now, after, of course, Elaine Wynn. So that's really interesting. I mean, Tillman Fertitta is a larger than life character. No time in this video to go into his details, but he's a brash, enthusiastic, along the lines of a mogul, similar to, well, Steve Wynn himself in his heyday, Sheldon Adelson, Stanley Ho, this kind of thing. So he's quite a character, and it will be very interesting to see. And he's a smart man, And it'll be very interesting to see where he takes the company, because Wynn Macau is obviously a very, very important part of Wynn Resorts. And we've got the concession relicensing, concessioning coming up right now. And yeah, that'll be fascinating to see what happens. Will he go for a full takeover? Watch this space. Thursday, Melco to open Studio City in stages. Now, this is quite interesting. Lawrence Ho had delayed the opening of phase 2 of Studio City, and now he's kind of delaying it again in a way, because although he's finishing the construction, he's going to open it in stages. Now, this, I guess, reflects where we're at in Macau at the moment. Business is poor. And it's quite interesting to look at this in the context of, say, Galaxy versus SJM, with Galaxy Phase 3 and Grand Lisboa Palace. Grand Lisboa Palace, of course, the opening was delayed many times, not because it was necessarily ready, but because there was difficulties with construction and so forth. Ended up being very expensive, in the order of $5 billion US. And it's open now. And I think, sad as it is to say, we have to acknowledge there's not much foot traffic at all at GLP. You look at the approach of Galaxy, and Francis Loy is, I think, very shrewdly really taking his time to open. Now, there would be government pressures, there would be other factors there in those decisions, but for Galaxy Phase 3, let's be honest, has been ready for a long time. And Francis is trying to delay the opening of that for as long as possible, I think. And that makes sense. That makes good commercial sense, because we don't need that capacity right now. Of course, at some stage, he has to open it. So it'll be interesting. Lawrence has taken this approach. Let's open Studio City in phases, so he can say it's open, but maybe not incur all the expenses that would be involved in opening it, which I guess makes sense. Honorable mentions for this week. Let's see, MGM China, US 70 million EBITDA with an R on the end, loss in Q3. I'm sure by the time the DAR was added on, or the ITDAR, I should say, the interest, the tax, what tax? No profit. The depreciation, the amortization, and the rent is added on, or taken off, I should say. That would be a much bigger loss. So I'm sure in the hundreds of millions. Melco announced a net loss. It's earnings season at the moment. They're all doing their Q3 net losses. Melco 244 million, 11th quarter in a row of losses, and there's nothing special about Melco there. The whole of Macau is going through that. SJM 242 million US loss for the third quarter. So they're all sort of around that 200, 300, and I think Sands and Galaxy being bigger would be bigger. So, 4 times, it could be $1 billion, the total loss, could even be more, the total loss for Q3, which was a tough quarter. Hopefully Q4 is a lot better with the e-visas, and hopefully there's not too much in disruption due to COVID-0. Finally, the DICJ came out in Alvin Chow's court case and said, we didn't see any under the table betting. Of course you didn't, because you couldn't have, because if you did, you would have done something about it, and you didn't do anything about it. So obviously you didn't see any. Doesn't mean it didn't happen, but who knows? I think I'll leave you to draw your own conclusions on that matter. Well, that's pretty much it for this week. Power 50 tonight. I'm very excited. I'm very have to say it. I'm very happy. We moved it to Manila this year. If it were in Macau, obviously we wouldn't be doing it tonight with what's going on in Macau at the moment. And I think it moved not just because of COVID, but for years we've been thinking about moving it around the Asia Pacific region. It is, after all, the Asian Gaming Power 50, not the Macau Gaming Power 50. And that makes sense. So look to see it around the region in the years to come. But of course, we'd love to be back to Macau next year, even if we can, because that means Macau's improved. But if not, well, maybe we'll be here in the Philippines again, or maybe we'll be there somewhere else. And as you just heard, I just got a message. So it's time to sign off for now. If you're coming to the Power 50 tonight, I really look forward to seeing you at City of Dreams Manila and at the after party at Cove Nightclub at Okada Manila. It's going to be a great night. We're really excited. It's our big night for the year. It's your big night for the year. And we'll see you next week on the Run. So bye for now.
you.